We're back. I don't know what episode it is. Whatever. Fine. Just it's you.
I think it's
You
like
know
11
what?
or
If
12.
you don't know what episode it is, then you're not a loyal follower, and you need to turn on your notifications and subscribe and follow and do all that kind of stuff. This is our retirement plan. So,
Right.
come on, help us out a little bit here. All right. So what we're going to kind of go over today. First of all, you know what? I've got a new co-host. It's the Ultimate Warrior, apparently, is what's going on
No,
here.
man. These are it's
is
Jay Uso.
The Usos.
Uso.
No, it's good stuff. It's fun.
He
kind
is
of
inspired.
irrelevant, but
No, I mean it's WWE. You gotta love wrestling. The Rock is back. John Cena's back. Come on, it's
John
fun
Cena's a
again.
heel
He's
now.
a heel now. He's a bad guy. It's still he's cut 4 promos now as a bad guy, and it's I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not going great so far.
No, and it wouldn't. Like this is kind of like the Hollywood Hogan. Like, come on, like
That worked
Hulkamania, the
eventually, though.
Hulksters, huh?
That worked a little bit though. It worked better than because it's still talked about like this heel turn. They'll talk about the heel turn, but so far it's kind of corny. Like the way that he's coming out, and it's just like it's too forced. It's too forced. It doesn't seem natural. Like you got your Seth Rollins and your Randy Ortons. You actually feel like they hate everybody and like they're actually bad people because it doesn't feel forced.
Right, like your CM Punks and all those guys.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn, like these dudes know how to do it, right? And like Kevin Owens can go back and forth and all that kind of stuff.
Hell, even AJ Styles.
John Cena has spent so many years being John Cena, and he's the Make-A-Wish guy, right? Like, so you can't have the Make-A-Wish guy be a heel.
No, it's tough.
You know what I'm saying?
It's hard.
It is. I don't like it.
Listen, I give him credit for trying it. I'm hoping that it starts to become more and more easier to like watch and it starts to feel more fluent because like I said, it feels really forced right now. But WrestleMania is around the corner. It's coming up fast.
Who's the main event?
John Cena and Cody Rhodes. I think they'll probably have Cody win it at Mania, and it's going to extend John Cena out to SummerSlam. And there's some more that's going to happen. Cena's going to team up with somebody else. Maybe Orton will turn heel again. I don't know. We'll see. Jey Uso.
See, that's another one too. Like Orton was good.
Yeah, because it wasn't forced. You like when he went out there, you were like, "Wow, this guy actually is bad."
Yeah.
And then you got Jey Uso and Gunther for the world title. I think that all the fans want Jey Uso to win, but I think probably the right move for the company would be to keep Gunther as the champ. And, there's a couple other matches. CM Punk, Roman Reigns, triple threat with Seth Rollins. That one's going to be fun. That's main eventing the first night. It's the first time in over 10 years that CM Punk's been wrestling with WWE that he finally main events a WrestleMania. So that'll be cool. But yeah, guys, that's exciting.
Money talks eventually, right?
We don't talk about wrestling much, but we've been to our fair share of events. We've watched a lot. I watch every week, but I'll definitely do some WrestleMania stuff on the TikToks and whatnot.
To bring that up though, I gotta do this for you because we went to Pittsburgh and we were staying at the hotel and so Jake sees on the social medias that Sheamus and Russo and Cesaro were at this bar in Pittsburgh watching the World Cup before they had to go and wrestle. And so we're like, let's go. Let's see if we can find where this bar. We go to the front desk and we ask the guy, we're like, hey, look at this picture. Do you know what bar this is? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, I've never been to a bar in Pittsburgh ever in the history of my life. I'm not even from here. So I love hotels that like, let's have people at the front desk or the concierge that have never been to the area before.
And this has happened.
Stories.
I was about to say, this has happened to us in like every city, which is bizarre to me. But anyway, so he goes.
It is. It's
I don't know.
So he don't know.
Yeah,
he don't know. So
he gives me a list, a piece of paper, and he gives me a list of all these bars, and he's like, Google them.
Like, right.
Right, dude.
So Jake's just one right after another, just Googling what they look like, finds one. It's called the All-Star Sports Bar in Pittsburgh. And we're like, okay, boom. So we punch it into Google and Google says it's 20 minutes away. Okay, fine. So we jump in the car. I'm Mario Andretti. We're trying to get there, whatever, hang out. hang out with the guys and stuff like that. So we get there and we walk in, and it's not the same place. We're looking at the walls and stuff like that. And they're not there. We're like, this is not the same place. And so the people come over and they're like, yeah, you want to sit down? And no, we're like, is there another location? And they're like, oh yeah, there's another location. Here's where it's at. So we punch it in. It was the parking lot was attached to the parking lot of our hotel in the back.
Mm-hmm.
This guy at the front desk had no idea that this happened. And so now we have to drive back to the hotel 20 minutes. The World Cup game's almost over and everything. And we get there and we just miss them. And it was unbelievable, the whole deal. But
we just missed them. And in fact, the guy sitting at the bar right in front of us made sure to remind us a million times that we just missed them and that how awesome they were. He kept saying how awesome they were and how they were taking pictures with everybody and they were being so nice and so cool. And I'm like, thanks, dude. Yeah. Thank you.
He said, you guys just missed them. You guys just missed them.
Well, you got to remember too,
if you'd have been here 30 seconds earlier, you just missed it. Thanks, dude.
Yeah. Appreciate it. And
like, I appreciate it as a dad that you keep, I got my son there. And I appreciate that you keep, hammering that point home.
And at the time, I was what, 18?
16, 17.
Yeah, I might have been younger. So I was really excited to meet these guys because I was younger too. So it was more 16, of a big deal. I think. It was more of a big deal to me because I was younger. And I was like, I really want to see these guys. And yeah, but the cool part to wrap up the story was, and this is how close it was, by the way. I know he said, like, we just missed them. No, like, their table wasn't even bust yet.
They did all their, their stuff.
Yeah. And so they let us sit at the dirty table. They let us sit at the dirty table. We took pictures in the exact seats they were sitting in. And I
sent it to the guys in DM, and they were like, "Oh,
they all liked it." Yeah, I tweeted.
They're like, "We just missed you. We just missed you. We would have hung out with you.
Yeah, they're like, you guys. Yeah, they're like, you guys actually probably would have been really cool to hang out with,
or beers with me."
Yeah, because again, I wasn't, But yeah, no, I tweeted at them. They all liked it. I think actually Cesaro reposted it. I think. So that was kind of fun. But that's we got more stories for other cities. We'll get into another time. But
it's unbelievable.
So what do you want to kick this whole thing off with?
Well, the first thing that I've got to do is I've got to give the people what they want, right? And clearly what the people want is an update on this guinea pig situation.
Yeah.
So the guinea pigs have been born. So, I don't know if we can get it there. So there's Mama with the two guinea pigs. We got a tan one and we got an all black one. And but here's the thing. Okay. So they come out ready to go. It's like as if like you were to birth a teenager. You know what I mean? Like they're fully developed, but they can't function on their own, So now we're at the point to where Thursday is the big day to where we take them to get sexed. So we can find out what they are to make sure if we have to separate them, because we know the rodent world is very incestuous and quick, and the libidos are there. So we need to make sure, because if they're two females, then old stud Winston on the other side, he's going to get fixed, and then we should be fine. If we got a male and a female, then we're going to have to, get the two fixed. And then, if we got the two males, it's unbelievable. We don't know what's going on. But the thing is they're getting to the point now to where we need to find out quickly so we can separate them and not have more.
Right. Because then next thing you know, you have 37 guinea
plethora.
Pigs.
Just a plethora of guinea pigs, and
guinea pig army.
It's exciting times in the household. So but yes, so mom and babies are doing great. Winston's pissed off because he's still over on the other side. He can't get in there. He wants to check it out. and Winnie kind of runs over there and kind of like shows her butt to him at the gate. And he kind of, it's unbelievable what's going on. It's a whole world.
You got some freaky ass guinea pigs, dude. Where did you get these things
this
from?
is what they do.
Where did you get them from, man?
I'm telling you,
was it a Petco that Diddy owned? I don't understand.
Well, wait, too soon? No, it's but anyway, so that's kind of where we're at with it, and we're trying to figure it all out. So we'll know on Thursday what what we got and what we got going on, and then it's just we might have to take a second mortgage on the house to pay for what has to go on with these guinea pigs, because it's unbelievable.
A lot of hoops you're going through.
It's turned from a 2 guinea pig birthday present to we're going to have a Netflix special, the guinea pig family in Northwestern Ohio. It's unbelievable.
Perfect.
So yeah, so there's that. So here's kind of what wanted to talk about today. First and foremost, I mean, we have the Final Four is set.
Yep.
So the tournament, I think it's been a decent enough tournament so far. I mean, nothing
crazy,
not like super great games. I mean, was a couple, but I mean, there was some upsets, but I mean, here we are, 4 number 1 seeds in the Final Four, and but yeah, so we've got, we're heartbroken. Sparty's out, Tennessee's out. There's where we live, there's a ton of Michigan fans that they came out of the woodwork because of the tournament and started paying attention to basketball, and now they'll go back and watch the History Channel of football and that again. But so I mean, we've got Auburn, Florida, Duke, and Houston, which
so I think both of us in our brackets, we're both 2 for 4. We both had Duke and we both had Florida. We did not have Auburn and Houston.
No, I had Michigan State and Tennessee. And so let's talk about those games, right? Because look, Michigan State and Tennessee, both of them absolutely deserve to lose those games.
Yeah.
I think they both shot less than 30% from the field. Like, I mean, it was unbelievable. Like, couldn't make a layup. Wide open threes, couldn't make it. And then you go 10 minutes without, making a basket. And how are you supposed to win a game? Against those, early rounds or something like that, you can survive something like that. But when you're playing for the Final Four, there's no chance. I mean, even if you get it together later in the game, you've dug yourself such a big hole against a really good team that you just can't get back. And it's frustrating because it's like, what happened? Like, why? I mean, it's not like they were taking bad shots. It's not like they were, being silly with the ball or whatever. I mean, they just weren't going in. I mean, shots that they make on a consistent basis all year long.
Yeah. And, I never wish injury upon any player, but when Broome went down, that was Michigan State's opportunity to take advantage of Auburn losing their best player and losing their big man down low. And they still were firing up threes and missing them all. That was their chance to take it into the paint and make it a game again, because for the whole second half, they were going basket for basket, and it just stayed a 10-point game the whole time. I think a couple times maybe Sparty brought it within like 8 or 7 maybe, but other than that, I mean, Auburn just stayed at arm's length away the whole time. And like I said, I never wish injury on any players, but when Broome went out for that period of time, that was plenty of time for Sparty to really get aggressive there, and they weren't aggressive at all. In fact, we were texting during the game, Auburn came out way more aggressive, and they showed they wanted to be there. Sparty was kind of playing scared, it seemed.
I mean, I don't necessarily know if Sparty played that poorly. It just, the shots didn't go in. I mean, think about it. Like, you're shooting. I mean, I think at halftime they were 30% from the field, and that was with the last 5 minutes when they made a little bit of a run, right? So like for the majority of the game, I mean, they were down, 15, whatever, and all that, like, and ended up being 19 at half or something. But they just weren't making shots.
No.
If they made half of those shots, then it's a close game. And then you're the way you played in the second half, then you're in it.
Yeah.
Same with Tennessee. You score 15 points in the first half. I think they were shooting in the teens for a percentage. Like there's no way you're gonna win a game. Because if you're playing a mediocre team and you're as good as those teams are, and you have a half like that, then the spread isn't going to get to be too far. And you once you kind of get it together, you're okay. When you're playing these good teams, when you're playing Houston and you're playing Auburn, there's no chance.
Yeah.
There's just no chance. You
And
can't. You don't get enough possessions to be able to overcome it.
I was just going to say, we saw almost identical game with Tennessee and Houston, maybe a little worse, but same type of situation, like you mentioned. It's it's unfortunate, obviously, for us, Sparty and Tennessee, those, the teams we're pulling for and whatnot. And then the Duke Alabama game was another one. Duke.
It was a boat
away.
race too.
Yeah. The only game, Florida and Texas Tech, was unbelievable.
That was I couldn't believe that Florida came back and won that game. I mean, it should have been a boat race the other way, right? Like, yeah. I mean, Texas Tech had the double-digit lead late. And then I remember texting you. I'm like, what is Florida doing? They're passing layups and then doing fadeaway threes, and then they were going in. That's the one thing about basketball that's crazy, because when you look at teams that have open good looks and can't make them, and then you've got a team that is shooting like fall away threes with people in their face and stuff like that, and it's just one right after another. It's crazy, but it is what it is. So that's where we're at. We got I picked Florida to win it all. I thought the way that they played in the SEC tournament, that they were the best team in the field. They haven't played like it so far. I mean, they had a couple of games where they struggled, and so we'll see. I think right now the team that's playing the best out of anybody is Duke.
And I was just about to say, yeah, like you mentioned, watching the SEC tournament, it looked like Florida was going to kind of just come through and boat race everybody. But after watching that round of the Elite Eight, Duke is looking like more of a problem and more of a complete team right now. Florida definitely got it together. It's very impressive how they nutted up there at the end and came back. I mean, those last couple threes that they took were like, what are you doing? But they were all falling, and I'm like, how?
It was unbelievable.
It
was unbelievable.
But I'm sitting here watching these games. I'm going to call it here. It's going to be Florida and Duke in the Natty. And that one's a coin flip.
That's what I was thinking. But I mean, Auburn did show something to me, right? Like they stumbled into the tournament, right? Like they stumbled in, losing 3 of their last 4. Tennessee handled them and knocked them out of the SEC tournament. And it was kind of like, okay, what's going on with this team, right? But they've kind of impressed me, so I'm not going to count them out, especially the way Florida doesn't look like the same team. They got to figure it out, what's going on there. But I do think I think that Duke has been the most consistent. They've been the most dominant, and at the same. And here's the other part. Now you could say like Brome, or Flag, who's the best player in the tournament right now?
I'm going to say Flag.
Well, I mean, Flag, yeah. I mean, he's healthy. He's playing well. But, I don't know. You need a guy like that to be able to then get yourself over the hump so you can avoid these droughts and this stuff like that. That was the big problem with Michigan State and with Tennessee over the weekend. Was they couldn't go inside to get a chippy bucket to kind of stop a run. Whereas when you got guys, like you're talking about 2 superstars, that if you get into a situation, throw the ball into them and let them do their thing. Let's stop a run. Let's, 8-0 runs don't turn into 18-0 runs
right.
with guys like that. So, hey, I'm going to change my tune. I still pick Florida to win it all, but I mean, I think a Duke Auburn final makes sense. And I think watching those two guys go at each other would be kind of awesome.
I think it would too. I think we're not mentioning Houston at all is a possibility. And I'm going to be honest with you. Listen, Tennessee played some of the worst basketball I've ever seen in my life and brought it to within 10 points at one point. The thing about Houston is you got to understand everybody was talking about how bad Tennessee looked in the front of it. Houston only had 30 some points, at halftime too. Like they weren't putting up a lot of points. Tennessee just wasn't scoring.
Right. And I mean, that was the thing. It was 34-15 at halftime.
Yeah.
So it's like, Houston only had 34 points. Like that's not a great half by any means.
Right.
But
and that's
when
why
you're playing against a team that can't make a shot and can't get the ball inside and can't score, it's a 19-point game. And what are you going to do?
Right.
So, but Houston, remember when we did the way too early back in January or whatever, and I said Houston was one of my Final Four teams. I backed off on it when it came time to make the selections, but Kelvin Sampson, he's a good coach. He's been doing it for a long time, and the team is balanced. They got guys. They're all. I mean, defensively, they're in your face nonstop.
Yes,
I mean they are, and that just makes it difficult. So, look, it's all number ones. They're all number ones for a reason. We got all number one seeds in the Final Four. I actually think it's going to be a great Final Four, even though I'm not super excited about the teams themselves. But from a fan standpoint, but from a pure basketball standpoint, I think it's going to be a great Final Four. And I think that, having the number one, all the four number ones is kind of awesome because you don't have that fluke team in there that's like going to give somebody like a cupcake to get into the final. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the teams that are going to be in the final are going to have to earn it, and it's going to be fun.
And we mentioned that too when we were making our brackets. It's boring. We're picking 1-2, 1-2. A lot of ones, a lot of twos. But as you see how it ended up playing out, all ones. So it's boring, right? You like to see these. I mean, really, the only team that made a run was Arkansas as a 10 seed. That was probably the biggest upset of the tournament. Was Arkansas beating St. John's? That's the biggest upset of the tournament, which still, I mean, it's a Patino Calipari matchup. You could pretty much throw the seeds out the window at that point because those two guys going at it. I mean, they've done it so many times that seeds kind of don't really matter much. But on paper, I guess that was the biggest upset of the tournament. So yeah, I mean, you mentioned this tournament hasn't really been crazy, right? The whole 12-5, you love your 12 and 5s. And that
I picked 3 of the 12 to beat the 5s. And the only 12 that did beat the 5 was the one that I didn't pick. The McNeese States of the world beat Clemson, and that was the only one that I didn't go with. All the other 5s beat the 12s, and that's what it was. So I never miss an opportunity to prove that I don't know a darn thing when it comes to the stuff. It's fun though. But yeah, it was my bracket's not the greatest. All of the couple of pools and stuff that I got into,
dead last.
I'm out. Also, I was a little mad. Michigan State was irritated me. I did the 3-leg parlay with the odds on Auburn making it to the Elite Eight, Michigan State making it to the Final Four, and Florida making it to the championship game. It was one that I forget what it was or whatever, but it was I think it like paid out like plus 200 or something like that or whatever. And so Michigan State failed me.
If you guys remember a couple episodes back, we talked about why we try and stay away from sports betting. And once again, the theory proves itself once more. So we, that candle, man, that candle's lit.
It's still burning. So
But that's Final Four. That's basketball. We'll see what it comes down to. Like I said, my prediction: you're going. This is it. You're calling it. Auburn, Duke.
I'm gonna go Auburn, Duke. I think Duke's gonna win it.
I'm gonna go Florida, Duke. It's tough because I just want to say Florida had an off game and Texas Tech's no slouch. So I think I'm still gonna call Florida.
I mean, look, at this point, you get yourself a four-sided coin and flip it, and any of them could win it. So, yeah, it's actually gonna be really good basketball. It's gonna be really good basketball. So yeah, one last a basketball related topic. I was kind of reminded of the Malice in the Palace situation with what happened. I mean, our Pistons, fighting scrap fit 5 seed and all this other kind of stuff. And then we had the brawl and stuff like that. And I forget what dude's name was, Da Vinciano or whatever. What's he doing, man? Like you don't like. Yeah, you're irritated because the Pistons are bringing back bad boys type style basketball, but like you're just gonna run up on a guy and not expect a melee to happen. Like, come on.
And especially a team like Detroit. I mean, you talk about Malice at the Palace and the Bad Boys, and again, this is a city like we talked about. It was just recently the anniversary of the Avalanche and the Red Wings, that big brawl at the Joe. Listen, Detroit. And we're homers, but you don't mess with Detroit. I mean, it's Detroit versus everybody's a saying for a reason. Eminem made a song for a reason. You know what I mean? And a team on this Pistons team who's bringing the physicality and the toughness back, and a city that's built off of grit right now with Dan Campbell and biting kneecaps and all this and
a Tiger team that's unfortunately 0-3 to start the season, but that doesn't have any superstars, but made the playoffs and won a series last year. And then the Red Wings, that they in the mix and starting to show signs. It's and of course the Michigan Panthers of the UFL, coming out with
greatest
with a big
team
win. Nakua with the pick 6 at the end to seal it. It's good times. It's good times in the Mitten State for the professionals, and you love to see it. I mean, even I don't know what our Siena Heights Saints got going on in the baseballs. I usually, as a former member of the baseball team, I mean, you should have those games streaming and stuff on your. I mean, what do you got going on? What's the scouting report on the Siena Heights Saints?
Well, so the thing about that is, none of the games are televised ever. You can't even watch like a YouTube stream because nobody knows when the games are except for both teams. So that's pretty much out of the picture. I will say a buddy that I went to high school with, his younger brother is a pitcher at Siena Heights. Mike Millen's younger brother is pitching at Siena Heights. John. Yep. So
Johnny,
from what I've heard from talking to the both of them, the Siena Heights Saints are still really, really bad. So, it's okay though. Listen, rebuild.
Yeah. Look, rebuilding since 1942. It's there. It is. It's that's the slogan on the field.
You got to trust the process. Well, listen, any baseball field that has a turf infield and a grass outfield,
it's the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Like, why? Why do that?
It's awful.
Like, why do that?
Speaking of that, the Tigers made a big decision here. We'll transition into it. I mean, this is the perfect segue. So the Tigers made a big decision. They're making some changes to the Copa, and they took away the keyhole, the dirt trail from the pitcher's mound to home plate. It was the last major league stadium that had it. Nostalgia to go back to the days of yore in baseball, and they got rid of that. But they also got rid of the big tiger sign out there in left field, and they're replacing it with the Comerica Park logo, and it's like half the size, and it's whatever. So What say you?
Yeah, it's I'm not a big fan of change. Um, and especially when it comes to baseball, because it's such a traditional sport. And we've talked about this earlier on during spring training. We talked about the new challenge rule on pitches. We've talked about the pitch clock and all these type of things, and there's a lot changing in the game. And it's like, is it for the good, is it for the bad? You stick in, you're a traditionalist with a sport like baseball, you like old school, but do you like the change? It's a lot. But it's different for us because growing up in Michigan, going to so many Tiger games, and now that we have traveled and have been to 9 other MLB ballparks outside of Comerica Park, being able to see these other ballparks and be able to compare them to Comerica and realizing that, wait a minute, now that we've seen 9 other ballparks, Comerica is still one of the coolest ones. And now they're taking away some little minor details like that I think kept Comerica where it was at, as far as in the rankings of stadiums and overall aesthetics and whatnot. I remember when they added the new scoreboard and they put the big tigers up there, and it was cool because it was LED and there were screens in between the letters when they hit home. I mean, when they did the fireworks after the game, they did the firework graphics in the tigers, and then the outline of tigers changed colors depending on the situation and whatnot. You can't do that with Comerica Park. um, Comerica Bank is a very big sponsor for the pro teams in Detroit. I mean, when the Lions get a first down, everybody goes, "That's another Detroit Lions, Comerica Bank."
Yeah, the Comerica
Comerica
Bank
Bank
sponsored first
sponsorship.
down. It's unbelievable. You can't get away from it. I mean, we're putting stuff on the uniforms now and all
Yeah,
this other kind of thing. And look, at the end of the day, you sit there as fans and you say, oh, well, why aren't these owners spending money and stuff like that? Well, this is how they get money to do it. And especially in baseball when there's no salary cap. I mean,
yeah,
you have to do that. And when you're looking at it, I mean, the Twins are looking to be in the negative 44 or some $1 million or something. I mean, so you think that, oh, you're making all this money or stuff like that. I mean, think about like all the stuff that goes into a production
yeah.
of it and all the expense and everything else and in that. And so, and look, I mean, it's 162 games, it's 81 home games. And there's a lot of times when you get 10,000 people in and you losing money that day with all the stuff that you're spending to make this thing happen. And you only get ticket sales of 10,000 people. And before we move on, we were talking about the keyhole. I did want to ask you, do you know why the keyhole was a thing?
I do not know.
So this dates back into the 1800s when we first started playing the baseballs here. And, obviously as a young nation and stuff like that, we had a lot of influence from overseas in that. And when we first started playing, there was no mound. It was just flat. And that
Mhm.
was where you pitched from. So you pitched on, like how the softballs are. But so and the fields had dual purpose, and the cricket people would come out there and they would play, and so then they would have the keyhole for the cricket. And that's that the dirt path, that's kind of where that kind of came from. So
Oh wow,
just a little bit of history
a
there.
little bit
But
of history for us. Yeah.
yeah, so but to go back to the money and the sponsorships things and how to generate. So the other thing that came up was the Tigers they're having these luxury I forget what the doggone thing's called. I'm gonna look it up here because I need to have it to say
The,
what it is.
the
But
luxury seats, like the stadium package.
right.
But
So
they're
it's Tiger Den or whatever it's
yeah.
called or whatever. So they're selling them for $100,000 for the season, but it's for two tickets. So so you $50,000 a ticket. Now here's like, and everybody's up in uproars about $100,000. Oh, this isn't the game I know, and oh, look at, you're just another way to gouge the fan and stuff. Again, if you want the Tigers to spend money to compete, they have to bring in revenue in some way. And right, the average casual fan is not going to be buying these tickets. Also, these tickets aren't like, there's still plenty of other seats in there for the average fan to be there. Also, everybody sees $100,000, and yes, when you say $100,000 for two, the shock factor of having six figures up there. But if you think about it, so here's what this includes. It's the premium seat behind home plate with the cushy seat, and they're heated, they've got cooling. I mean, this is like, and it's a suite like experience. You get the tickets, you get free parking, comes with it, with the package, all you could eat, all you can drink from the premium luxury chef and drinks and stuff like that. So like, that breaks down to 81 games. That breaks down to $600 a game for a seat for that experience. Now, yes, again, the average fan is not going to spend $600 going to a game, but I would venture to say, how much are you paying for parking? 40, 50 bucks?
Right.
I mean, how many beers are you going to drink at $16 a beer?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How many hot dogs at $8 a hot dog are you going to eat? And popcorns and candies and stuff. I mean, you're going to spend a couple, $200-$300 on your own sitting in the 300 level.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the discrepancy, let's calm down a little bit. They're trying to do something. They're trying to, they're trying to do something to get more money coming in, more guaranteed money, because who's going to buy these, right? They're going to be companies. They're going to be companies. They're going to be salespeople. Right. They're going to be take clients out.
Yep.
They're going to be those kinds of things. Right. And so it's not going to change your experience at the game.
Right.
And if you happen to be able to sit in one of them, and somebody like, oh, hey, let me take you to one of these, are you going to say no? You're not going to, oh no, this
goes against everything. Yeah, this goes against everything I stand for.
Like, stop it.
You're 100%
because I mean, you look, all these parks have it. Like, we were looking about Arizona, right? When we say, well, when we go to Arizona, we want to sit where the pool is, right? Well, you can't.
Yeah.
Because you got to buy the whole thing, and it's like 100 seats or something like that, or whatever. It's a suite that you have to buy the whole entire thing. And I think it's like, $10,000 a game or something like that for the entirety of it. So it's everybody's doing this to try to get money to be able to compete and stuff, because now when you're talking about billion-dollar contracts and all these payrolls and stuff like that this is what you got to do. And
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah,
I think it's cool. I think it's good for Comerica. Like we mentioned, we've been traveling to other ballparks now. Like I said, we've been to 9 other ones. So the one thing that we can kind of say is, yes, while we like the aesthetic of Comerica and Tigers games are fun because we're fans and whatever, there was nothing really about Comerica that kind of like stuck out.
The Ferris wheel, the carousel. But I mean, that's
every there's other carousels at other ballparks, things like that. So yeah, man. I mean, I don't see a problem with it. I think it's cool. And if you could afford it, and if you had the money, you would be interested. If you had the money to blow, you would be interested. You would do it.
Because there's food there that you're going to get. I mean, it's just like a suite experience. If somebody offers you to go sit in a suite, you're going to sit in the suite, you're going to drink the beer, you're going to eat the food, you're going to enjoy it. Right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the same thing. I mean, this is, whatever. It's just silly to me how everybody like has to like, oh, calm down. Like,
and again,
seriously.
Again, it doesn't, like you said, it's not going to affect your experience one way or another. If you don't have the money for it and you're not sitting there, why does it matter? Like, exactly. If you don't sit there, it's not going to change whether it's there or not.
Are you going to go to a game and be like, this game sucked because somebody was sitting in one of those seats?
Right.
And it bothered me the whole game. Like, and if it does, then you're just a bad person.
You've got some,
and really should think about not ever leaving the house, because everything's going to offend you.
Right. And then you've got some personal issues that you've got to take care of there.
But
while we're still on the topic of baseball, though, the Yankees have introduced this new bat. And, while we're on the topic of traditionalism and not wanting to change the game, and they're making a lot of changes and a bunch of different other factors and whatnot, and all this, the Yankees have introduced this bat where the barrel of the bat is a little bit lower down now, where you're likely to make more contact with the ball. What do you think about this new bat?
Okay, so here's the thing, right? Again, it's one of those things where, and this is sports are a microcosm of life, right? Like, I mean, sports imitate life, and sports have so many life because as a society, we are so built on emotion. And so we see something that initially like gives us a little bit of a tickle in our irritants, and then we're freaking out and we're losing our minds and everything, right? And I think that this is another one of those where it's like, hold on, let's take a deep breath here for a second. Because yes, and the reason why everybody is so upset is because it's been labeled as the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
And the Yankees, obviously, in the first 3 games, they tied a record. They didn't even set a record. They tied a record of most home runs in the first 3 games using these bats. And, you talk about Bellinger and you talk about Volpe and, they weren't making contact. And then when you see all the highlights of them showing, they barreled up the ball but didn't hit a home run, it shows them like barreling one up in Comerica Park, and then you got the torpedo bat in Yankee Stadium. And we know that Yankee Stadium is a softball, like little league ballpark, right?
Which is why, yeah,
that has been going on with the regular bats too, to where on the road you barrel one up, it's not a home run. You barrel one up at home, or don't even barrel one up at home, and it's a home run. And it's just the way that it is. But so the torpedo bat, if you don't know, basically essentially the regular bat had the bulk of the wood going all the way in, going out and towards the end of the bat. Whereas the torpedo bat now takes the bulk of the wood, puts it more on the label, and then tapers it down at the end so that it stays within the weight regulations and all that, and of the MLB rules and standards. So Major League has confirmed that these bats are legal. They fall within the rules of the game. And it was a situation to where it was the Yankees, Lenny, who's a MIT physicist, invented this, and it brings more wood in mass to where you would most often make contact as a hitter. And it increases the number of barrels on it. So like, because here was the thing too, like if you hit one on the label, you were breaking your bat, right?
Yeah.
Or even a little bit further down underneath the label or whatever, you were going to break your bat. Now you're hitting the meat of it, which
right.
I mean, it makes sense. Here's the thing. If a player was having an issue of not being able to bring their hands in and get the barrel on the ball and everything else, then this gives them more of an opportunity to do so. You pitch them outside. Are they going to get the barrel on it? No. So there's a way to be around this. Like you're just creating, all you're doing in this situation is you're making yourself an inside pull hitter, as opposed to being able to go outside and get the ball and put one and hit one to the opposite way. Okay. Which, whatever, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Also, I want to bring this up to everybody's talking about the Yankees. Francisco Lindor used one.
Mm-hmm.
You got Volpe. You got players on the Tampa Bay Rays are using them.
And the Rays are playing in a spring training ballpark.
The Yankees, spring training park.
Yeah.
So single A park, and they're using it, and they didn't hit 15 home runs in 3 games. So is it the bat? Nico Horner from the Cubs using one. You got guys on the Twins that are using them. Again, Yandy Diaz. You got Adley Rushman. So look, everybody's freaking out because it's the Yankees and the Yankees are cheating. Again, everybody take a deep breath.
Mhm.
It's throughout the league. Everybody has the opportunity to do this. But look, if I'm not an inside pull hitter, I don't want one. I want to be able to get the barrel on the ball on the outside part of the plate. So I want the regular bat. If I want to spit on the outside pitch and not ever go after it, then I'm going to take this torpedo bat and I'm going to say, okay, or crowd the plate a little bit. I'm going to change it's a player by player thing. And also at the same time, it's like you still have to make contact with the ball.
Right. It's still the hardest thing to do in sports is hit a baseball, right? It's not like they made the bat wider. It's not like they made the ball bigger. You know what I mean? It's all they did was they just changed the shape from it being heavier up top to a little bit down. I don't see a problem with it. I would like to swing one so I can see
I
how
would
it
too.
feels.
I would like to see what it feels like. And
Yeah.
because again, it changes the balance of the bat too. And if you're used to swinging a bat with all the weight on the very end of it, and then now it's coming a little bit, then it's not like you're just going to pick one up and swing and hit a home run.
Right. And that's what everybody's making it seem like.
You
Like,
got to
oh,
work in the cage with it and get used
yeah.
to it and get a feel for it and everything else and stuff like that. So it's not like they came out of nowhere.
Right.
And everybody, it's just, again, look, I am not a Yankees guy. I am not a Yankees guy by any stretch of the imagination, but the only reason why anybody's freaking out about this at all is because a guy from the Yankees organization invented it or came up with the idea. But I mean, you just look it up on the Googles. There's players all throughout the league that are using them.
Yeah.
And nobody's saying anything about that. They're just talking about the 15 home runs that the Yankees hit at home in Yankee Stadium.
Right. Which, why is nobody like what pitchers just can't have bad games? Like nobody's even acknowledging, oh, the pitcher just had a bad outing. No, it's like, oh, the Yankees are hitting the ball. They have to be cheating. Like,
and I forget who I forget who it was. It was the Brewers pitcher that was like, oh, the Yankees get away with it or whatever. But then the manager came out and said, hey, listen, it's not the wand, it's the magician, right?
Yep.
It's look, I can go out when I'm going and play golf. I can go out and buy the most expensive gear and all the gadgets and everything else. And look, I'm still not going to beat Tiger Woods.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. I mean, I'm not even going to beat the local kid at the Muni that's that's playing on the high school team. It's just I'm not going to do it.
Exactly.
The equipment's not going to matter.
And that's the thing is people are making it seem like, oh, because they have this bat, that's dude. And this goes with any sport, right? No, there's not a pair of cleats that's going to make a guy run faster. There's not a, you know what I'm saying? Like there's not a basketball that's going to be, lighter in weight. That's going to make dudes hit more threes. Like it's just not how it works. Right.
I feel like Jordan still probably would be the GOAT if he was wearing Adidas rather than Nikes.
No way.
He wanted to wear the Adidas.
Yeah, but look, you think like Jordans, right? Could you imagine Jordans being with Adidas? Like we can all agree when it comes to like uniforms, Adidas quality is pretty bad.
Oh yeah.
Like especially the football uniforms.
Oh, horrible.
I don't think and then back in the 90s too, 80s and 90s, I don't think
it was better back then. I think
it was better back then.
That more recently they've gotten worse and worse. But
what he should have done was signed with Reebok and do some Jordan pump shoes, little Reebok.
The D Brown pumps.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's the bat and all that. One thing I will say is it doesn't matter. You could, Bryce Harper, you could give him a golf club and throw a golf ball at him, and he's still taking you 500 yards deep. But while we're on the topic of tremendous athletes, I have a question for you.
Okay.
And this was asked to me last week, and to be honest with you, I had to sit and think about it for a while. Is what Shohei Ohtani is doing in baseball, pitching and being a hitter, versus Travis Hunter playing both sides of the ball, which is more impressive / more difficult?
Oh, it's not even close. Look, I'm
Really?
not taking away from Travis Hunter. I'm not taking away from Charles Woodson. I'm not taking away from Deion Sanders. I'm not taking away from how difficult it is for those guys to do what they're doing simply from the standpoint of conditioning. I mean, to play as many snaps as you play doing that. But look, we know that the hardest thing in sports to do is to hit a baseball, and this isn't just baseball guys trying to say, oh, this, it's, I mean, mathematically, I think that I love the one video that you see out there. All the baseball sites put it out every once in a while, but they show, like, from a pitcher's stride to their release point. Once they release the ball, it travels X number of distance, and which is like maybe a third of the way to home plate. And it gets a third of the way to home plate before your eyes physically can even pick it up. Then it travels another few milliseconds. And once it gets to 2/3, you have to make the decision to swing or you're going to be late on it. So you've got milliseconds to pick it up, figure out where it's going, and swing and barrel the ball up. It's insane. And what people don't understand is it's not that baseball players are like, it's not hitters like Tony Gwynn, Barry Bonds, all of these guys. They weren't just going up there and say, "Oh, I see a good pitch, I'm going to hit it." The amount of time that they studied the game and paid attention to pitchers' tendencies and scouting reports and things like that, they did all this work to try to figure out what kind of a pitch was he going to throw in this type of a situation. And then they would try to guess at it and swing to that area. And that's how you hit the ball. So, I mean, and then to pitch, to be able to throw with that kind of velocity and to have that kind of movement on it and then place it in it's yes, what Travis Hunter's doing and what all the two-way players did is incredible at the highest level and all that stuff. But look at what Ohtani's doing is it defies logic, right? I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I ultimately said what Otani's doing. But the reason that I thought about it for so long is because I understand what you're saying about, yes, like the hardest thing in sports to do is hit a baseball. And like you remember, like remember when sports science was a thing, and
Yeah.
they broke it down, and like you were explaining, like yes. However, what made me think about it was, one, the age difference. Two, like you mentioned, football is more of a physically demanding sport. So now what makes it, like, and you meant, it's conditioning, right? I think what made me think maybe it's harder for Travis because, number one, the physicality of getting hit on offense at one side of the ball, and now you're turning around and hitting people, but you're still running routes, whether you're running the route or you're covering the route. Your cardio's got to be insane, and like conditioning wise, it's way more physically demanding on you. Skill wise, it's way harder for what Otani's doing, and it's way more impressive. Because also when it's that physically demanding like that, your skill can go down because you're gassed, you're tired. So now you're not even playing to the best of your ability, right? So for the first couple drives, sure, but as the game goes on, you know, and think about it, like, listen, Travis was putting up some crazy numbers at Colorado, right? I mean, he was getting touchdown receptions, receiving yard records, and interceptions and pick sixes all in one game. It's crazy.
I mean, he was
right?
top 5 both offensively and defensively,
Correct.
which is
Correct.
insane to be top 5 on either side of the ball, but to do it on both is ridiculous. Which
Ridiculous.
is why I felt like he was the runaway Heisman winner. I know Ashton Genty and stuff like that is a physical specimen and everything else and did all this other kind of stuff or whatever. But look, if you're top 5 in defensive back categories and in receiving categories at the same time, and to your point, when Ohtani's pitching and hitting, he's not doing it in the same game anymore.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. When it comes to being physically demanding and condition wise, it's harder. However, the actual overall skill of it, I think like you said, it's not even close. I'm not going to go that far to say it's not even close. I definitely think you got to really sit and think about it. There's a lot of factors that go into it, but I'm still going to side with you about. I think it's a little bit harder for what Ohtani's doing. But
and I'm telling you, people don't understand. I always say this that like, okay, yeah, you do see young kids make it to the major leagues. I mean, Paul Skeens and he dominates, Harper and Trout and these guys coming up at 18, 19, you can go all the way back, Al Kaline and all this other stuff. But I'm telling you the difference in talent from level to level in baseball is far greater than in any other sport. I'm an NAIA, playing in the batter's box, and the guy throws me a knuckleball, and I like to get in the fetal position because I thought that he had some weird witchcraft going on in the doggone thing. I didn't know which way it was going next. And the snap on the fastball, like when you're playing at certain I mean, yeah, a guy can throw hard or whatever, but he's throwing hard and it's flat. Once you get to different levels, now they're throwing hard and it's got movement. And then, you've got the, where you're at one level, there might be 5 to maybe 10 mile an hour difference between, off speed and fastball and stuff like that. But then you get to the majors and it's like, I mean, Verlander would throw 100, then drop a 76 mile an hour, 12-6 curve on you. And it's like, how? So the talent. So for Ohtani to be able to do both and to do both, I mean, because look, okay, so here's the thing. We went to the universal DH, right? Why did we go to the universal DH? Because pitchers couldn't hit.
Yeah.
Because they focused on pitching. They didn't focus. I mean, yeah, they would get into the batting cage or whatever. I mean, to be able to spend the time focusing on being able to pitch and develop your pitches, and then also get in the batter's box and be able to, hit with power, hit for average and stuff like that. Like, I mean, it's the amount of preparation that goes into it is unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So while we're on the topic of baseball, I got a fun little question for you to wrap up this episode.
Okay,
so
let's go.
Ranker has a top 10 all-time best baseball films of all time.
I do love my baseball movies.
Right.
Now, I'll be interested to see too. I go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So we'll top 10. You don't have to get the order, but can you guess all 10 that they have?
Yeah. I'm interested to see how if I could get all 10, but also I'm interested to see like if I would have them in that spot. But anyway, I'll just kind of go with off the top of my head. Well, I mean, let's start. Let's just go with the obvious, the quick ones. Field of Dreams.
Yep.
What number was that?
That was number 1.
Number 1. Yeah. Probably number 2 is The Natural.
The Natural is not number 2.
Is it in
The Natural? It's in there, but it's not number 2.
Okay. What number?
Number 7.
No, really? Wow.
Yeah.
So then we got The Sandlot.
Yep. Number 2.
What number is that?
Number 2.
That's a good one. I mean, A League of Their Own.
Yep, that's on there. That one is number 5.
Okay, so what I got 4. And then Bull Durham.
Yep, that's on there. Number 6.
Major League.
Major League is on here at number 3.
For the Love of the Game, Kevin Costner, Tigers pitcher.
that is on here, and that is number 9.
Bad News Bears. Old school.
Bad News Bears is not on here.
Not on the list. Okay, so now I think it's got to kind of get into like little funky ones, right? Clearly on the list. 42.
Yes, 42 is last on the list at number 10.
Really, I'm going to tell you that
fantastic. And R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman.
Oh, was awesome in it, and it was that was awesome. Okay, so how many do I have so far?
So you've got 42. You've got For the Love of the Game, and that was 9 and 10.
Okay.
You're missing number 8, but you do have number 7 with The Natural. You've got Bill Durham at 6. You have A League of Their Own at 5. You're missing number 4. You've got Major League at 3. You got Sandlot at 2, and you've got Field of Dreams at 1.
So I'm missing 2.
Yeah, you're missing 4, and you are missing 8.
8 Men Out.
8 Men Out is number 8. So you have 1 left, and that one is at number 4.
Wow. Okay. I'm just trying to think of what these other ones that are way down there. Like, I mean, how, like, how would they not be number 4? Let's see. I said a Major League. I said League of Their Own. I mean, is this one of those? Oh, Moneyball.
Yep, Moneyball is the last one on there at number 4 that you missed. All right, so now let's deliberate.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. Like, so, okay.
So let's reorder these now. So I have them. I'm going to put them up there on the screen too.
Okay.
In the final edit. We'll have their list up there while we're guessing them, and then I'll either do a side by side or I'll wipe theirs away and do ours. And now we're going to take these same 10 movies and we are going to re-rank them.
First question that has to be asked is: have you seen all 10 of the movies?
I haven't seen all 10. I have seen Field of Dreams. I've seen Sandlot. I've seen Major League. I've seen Moneyball. I have seen 42, For the Love of the Game. I think I've seen The Natural a long, long time ago. I have not seen 8 Men Out, and I have not seen Bill Durham. And I haven't seen League of Their Own.
Are you saying Bill Durham?
Bull Durham. I haven't seen Bull Durham.
Bull Durham's, it's unbelievable. You guys
actually, I have seen A League of Their Own, so I've seen all but 2.
You've seen all but 8 Men Out and Bull Durham,
and I think The Natural. I'm not quite sure, but now that I'm like reading the description of A League of Their Own, I have seen that with Tom Hanks. Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, it's tough to call out number 1, right? Because there's different criteria for each. Right.
I mean, I know what I can put. My number 1 would be. Should we do that? Should we do that instead of trying to rank them together? Should we?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm putting Sandlot number 1, and that comes with my age.
But I mean, it could very well be. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, it's the movie's just awesome. I mean, Hercules, the whole deal. Legends never die, and it's awesome.
So now give me your number 1.
Did you know a little tidbit about the Sandlot? Did you know that the young Jet Rodriguez and the one who plays the Jet Rodriguez on the Dodgers at the very end, they're actual brothers?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Okay, so I'm my number 1, boy. I mean, see, that's I'm kind of going back and forth between Field of Dreams and For the Love of the Game.
You got to pick one.
For Love of the Game, for me, I mean, a lot of it has to do with Costner one, and he's in both of them. Costner, him and Matthew McConaughey are probably my favorite two actors. He was in Tiger uniform at the end of his career, perfect game, the whole deal against the Yankees, all of it. It was cool. I mean, you could say, well, you kind of knew once it gets to a certain point or whatever that he was going to do it. I mean, it's not like although they could have thrown a curveball at the end, whatever. But yeah, so I'm gonna go with For the Love of the Game.
You're going Love of the Game.
Love it. Love that movie. It was just cool. Brings a tear to my eye.
Yeah.
Every time.
So those are our number ones. Number two, I'm gonna take 42 here.
So I was back and forth between number one and number two of those. So my number two is going to be Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams. Okay. Now it's funny you say that. So with my number three, I'm going to take Field of Dreams.
And with my number three, I'm gonna go The Sandlot.
Okay. Not bad. Now hopping into number four, here's where I'm gonna put Major League. I'm gonna go Major League here at number 4.
My number 4 is gonna be 42.
Okay. I don't hate that. At my number 5 here, I'm gonna go Moneyball.
See, my number 5, I'm gonna go Bull Durham.
Okay, so now here's
seen it, but like so that's probably gonna be your 9s and 10s.
I was gonna say so everything from this. I mean these, and then at my number 6, based on the remaining ones, I haven't seen The Natural, and I haven't seen 8 Men Out, and I haven't seen Bull Durham. I'm gonna take League of Their Own at number 6.
I think my number 6 is also going to be A League of Their Own.
And so then the last one on this list that I have seen, putting at number 7, will be For the Love of the Game.
And then for me, my number 7 is going to be The Natural.
And so now with the remaining 3, I haven't seen these 3 movies. So Dad, this one's all you. Where are you ranking these last 3?
Yeah, so this one, like okay, Major League is it. I mean, it's straight up a comedy. It's great. It's iconic. It's the whole deal and all this other kind of stuff. Bob Uecker and all that other stuff. It's a completely different category for me of baseball movie out of these 10, right? Because if you look at all these 10, I mean, they're all pulling on the heartstrings. They're all about nostalgia. They're all about how does the game make you feel, and those kinds of things, right? Major League is completely different, so that's why I'm gonna put them down at number 10. So my 8, 9, 10 is gonna be 8 Men Out at 8. That I thought that was a good Shoeless Joe Jackson. It was about Shoeless Joe Jackson and those guys throwing the World Series, the White Sox, and stuff like that. And then 9, Moneyball. I liked Moneyball. I thought it was interesting. There's a lot of good quotes. There's a lot of whole thing or whatever. I think they kind of sensationalized what he was doing a little bit, kind of thing with the metrics and stuff like that. But whatever. So yeah, so that's my 8, 9, and 10. 8 Men Out, and then 9 is Moneyball, and 10 is Major League.
You're putting Major League all the way at the end.
Yeah, just because it's a completely different category of movie for the top 10, right?
Okay.
It's I feel like Major League would be there with more of like the Rookie of the Year, or like the more of the comedy type movies, right? I mean, obviously, Rookie of the Year is kind of more like a kids movie and stuff like that, but it's just a completely, whereas all these other movies are about like, history and nostalgia and how you feel about the game and stuff like that, and they're just completely different. Like, I mean, yeah, so that's what I got. But that's That's a pretty good list. I will say, like, I'm surprised the Bad News Bears.
Well, actually, so if you look at this link, you can scroll past 10 and they keep it going. So at 11, they've got the Rookie. At 12, they got Bad News Bears. 13, they've got 61. 14, they've got the Pride of the Yankees. And then it keeps going. I mean, they end up going and they end up putting majority. I mean, Cobb down to 23.
They got a bunch of
you know,
the
so
Fever Pitch.
Little Big League at 22. So yeah, I mean they added a bunch
number 28
movies.
Brewster's Millions.
Right. So they've got the list going pretty far down. And you know what? I would have put Brewster's Millions a little higher up. I have seen that one.
What, Brewster's Millions?
And okay, now the Benchwarmers, right? But this is back when you talk about different quality of movie. Like Benchwarmers to me was a great movie, but they're not in the same realm as everything else that we just went through. I mean, I guess maybe you could compare Sandlot being as like a comedy type of thing, but Benchwarmers
was still like it's still like the history of being a kid and like it's all about like, so like that's the thing, like you get the Pride of the Yankees is on here. Where is that one? That's like 15 or 14 or something that. Like Lou Gehrig's story.
They go all the way down. You go all the way down to 42 movies. Damn Yankees at 42. I mean, they've got. I think they might go to 50 here. We're at 54. The Hill, The Catcher was. I mean, they're going all over the place. They stop it. No, they don't stop. It just doesn't stop.
No, they don't stop. You got to keep going.
I mean, some of these.
The Fan was a good one. That was with Wesley Snipes and De Niro.
See, but the longer you scroll, then they start adding documentaries and stuff like that in here, which that doesn't.
Yeah, documentaries don't count.
And then you got The Sandlot 2 and stuff like you can't put sequels and things like that up in there.
I think that top 10 is a good top 10.
Tiger Town all the way down at 80.
Oh yeah, Tiger Town.
All the way down at 80.
Yeah.
It's a little.
What was the dude's name in I gotta have to see it now. What was the dude's name in Tiger Town? That
Roy Scheider, Justin Henry, Ron McClarty, are the actors.
No, it was
produced in 83, man. Dude, you were like 47 in 83?
Alex, a young fan.
You just could slip past that one.
Yeah. What was I gotta try it now. It's gonna bug me. What was the player's name in that?
In what?
I don't know, but yeah, old Tiger Town. Okay, well, that was good. That's good little trivia, good little ranker action here.
Yeah, man.
I like the top 10s.
Oh yeah, and now that baseball is in full effect, real quick to close it out. I know I said that with the trivia, but we forgot to mention this. Opening day just happened, and there's an interesting stat here. So the White Sox are the third team this decade to win their home opener by a score of 8-1. The other two teams, 2020 Dodgers, 2021 Braves. Those two teams went on to win the World Series. So by process,
can we stop? Can we stop?
That means the White Sox are winning the World Series this year. Is what that means.
But can we stop talking about 2020 as even being a season? Can we stop calling the Dodgers 2020? Look, last year they won it all and everything else. The 2020, they did not win a World Series in 2020. Let's stop it. It was 60 games, neutral sites, no fans. Like, stop. That's not a season. There was no World Series winner that year. That's dumb.
Yeah. Maybe we should cut it short before you end up ranting for 40 minutes about that.
It was the stupidest thing. You play with nobody in the stands for 60 games and then call it like, ooh, yeah, and then we're gonna have a playoff. It's gonna be neutral site. Playoff, dumb. And then, okay, well, now we're gonna have our families there. Like, that season did not exist. That wasn't a season. There's no World Series champion that year. Stop calling them the 2020 World Series champions.
What if they
got a ring?
What if the Tigers would have won in 2020?
No, it's dumb. Look.
But what if the Tigers would have won in 2020? You'd be saying the same thing?
It wouldn't have counted. Because look, how many times do you like the Pirates? The Pirates, like after 60 games, are like, "Ooh, we're almost in first place," and then all of a sudden they're 40 games out by the end of the year.
Yeah.
So that's why it's 162 games, and that's why you have fans, and that's why you play home field advantage and not have a neutral site. Stupid, dumbest thing ever. That's even worse than the other two that don't deserve to have titles.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Both of them being the Michigan Wolverines.
Well, no.
One of them.
Well, 2023 and then 2017 Astros.
Oh, well, what about when they shared the national championship?
Well, they shared it. They shared it with Nebraska in 97.
Okay. So the 2023 Connor Stallions, Michigan
But that
Wolverines.
was just, I mean, that's just the way that it was. I mean, there was, I mean, prior in the voting, in the poll era, that's just, I mean, teams shared titles. I mean, you go back and you even go back into the 50s and the 40s, and they had 5 teams that tied.
Wow. Yeah. See, that's ridiculous. We can't be doing all that.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, we know, like 2017, like, okay, Astros, yeah, whatever. They did what they did. And then everybody knows it, right? Like, you know, and even the players and the managers and everybody else came out and admitted it, whatever. And we all know, whatever. 2023 Michigan team, yeah, we all know what they did, the Connor Stallions and all of that stuff. Sharon Moore and JJ McCarthy and all of them came out and admitted it. And then when it came out and they got busted, everybody left. So everybody knows that that's what it was. And what happened, the 20 years prior to that run, they never had less than 2 losses. They had 2 or 3 losses every single year. And then the year following, what do they end up with? 5 losses again.
Yeah.
So it's like, stop. Like, we all, so those don't count. 2020 Dodgers doesn't count because it's not that the Dodgers could have probably won it that year. They were a good team. I'm just saying, it's 60. It's not a season. It's not a season. It's 60 games.
Well, the one thing
games, dumb.
The one thing that I can say, world championships that won't be, have an asterisk by it or whatever. Ohio State Buckeyes 2024 national champions, and I'm going to call it right now. 2025 Ohio State. We're going to back to back, and we just extended Ryan Day, baby. We just extended Ryan Day, and I'm not going to lie, I was calling for his head just like everybody else was. He proved me wrong. He made me eat my words. He proved me wrong. He proved why he's getting paid what he's getting paid, and I'm sitting in this chair right now making this podcast episode. So with that being said, I'm going to shut up, and I'm going to let Ryan Day do his thing. We're going back to back. And then, of course, the Lions are going to win the Super Bowl. The Pistons are going to win the NBA Finals this year. And then the Tigers are going to win the World Series. It's going to be a good couple of years coming up here. So
I like it.
With that being said, guys, that's all we got for today. Much more of a baseball episode. We got a long season ahead of us. And we've got a few stadiums we're going to visit this season as well. So, stay tuned for those down the road. And Dad, real quick to sign us off, you noticed the background change. What do we got cooking up with that background?
Yeah, we did some things. So what's gonna happen is Jake's coming up here. So when you come up here, we're gonna be in the same room doing the thing. So we set it up, and we're gonna be, like almost between two ferns, Zach Galifianakis style.
Yep.
Doing the thing. So it'll be kind of fun. And we'll do it that way. And so we kind of just moved to a new area, and so yeah, we're playing around with the decor and all that other kind of stuff, and we'll keep adjusting it as is, and have fun with it. But yeah, and also, I got the microphones,
and also you do got the microphone, and also there's going to be a few days in April that you'll actually be in Florida, so we can get a little taste of an in-person podcast if you bring your stuffs.
Yes,
you can knock out one of those. Also, you'll be here when WrestleMania is going on too, so that'll be fun. Ooh. But yeah. So yeah, guys, make sure, like you mentioned at the beginning of the episode, notifications on so you can keep up to date what episode we're on, because we forgot. But you won't forget if your notifications are on and you're subscribed and you're following all our socials, TikTok, Instagram. All the links will be in the bio below, and we will catch you guys on the next one.